Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome for today's episode of Gita Gyan, batch 3, year 2024. So today is October 9th, on October 9th, Wednesday. So we have gathered here to discuss on, we are continuing our discussion on the summary study of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. And today we're going to discuss on chapter 3. Okay, chapter 3 is Karma Yoga. So before we start, is there anyone who would like to share something or any reflection from yesterday's class, yesterday's topic? Do you have any reflection, any inspiration that you got? Anybody like to share? You can unmute yourself. No one. All right. Okay. So if there's no reflection, no nothing. Okay. So we continue on our discussion. Okay. So before that, let's do our invocation prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Parakamlam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajadam Shahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savaduta Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanustude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasa Chadestarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivashari Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Harim Tatsa Namo Om Shri Krishna Prishta Hare Krishna. So, just to recap, so today we are continuing our discussion on chapter 3. So what happened in chapter 1? Arjuna became overwhelmed. All right. After he started to see the reality strike him, whereby he need to fight against his own family members. It's recording, huh? Okay. So he need to fight against his own family members, and he becomes so disheartened. Then in chapter 2, yesterday we discussed, was a very lengthy discussion. We discussed on the contents of Gita summarized, whereby after going through so much of anxiety and stress, Arjuna at last surrenders to Krishna and accepts him as the spiritual master. Okay. And he says, please give me instruction. Tell me what is the best for me to do. And please give me the instruction. All right. So after that, then after that, Krishna spoke about the size of the soul. The size of the soul is, you take a tip of your hand, slice it to 10,000 pieces, it's that tiny. It's almost impossible. It's invisible. Okay, can't be seen with naked eyes. And it's all pervading. That means it is everywhere. Okay, there's not a place there's no soul. Even in a minute bacteria, what they call bacteria, viruses, and all this. Whenever there's a presence of soul, there'll be always intelligence is there. All right. There's a thing called we got two types of body, gross and subtle. We discuss this as we go on. So the subtle body, we have these three things called what do you call mind, intelligence, and ego. All right. False identification. So because it has intelligence, it knows how to procreate by itself, how to protect himself, and all these things. Okay, just like for instance, when you look at a cancer cell, right? The cancer cell, the cell which is suddenly become mutated, or just like a cell become a terrorist and try to attack other cell. And despite when we start to give all that chemotherapy and all that heavy drugs or whatever it is, but still it knows how to run here, run there, and mutate again, and eventually conquer the body, that eventually the person dies. All right. Or just like coronavirus. All right. The virus was created and the virus get into someone, and the virus has intelligence by itself. It knows how to escape. All right. First, we need to have a first vaccine, second vaccine, third vaccine, and somehow or other we managed to subdue the coronavirus pandemic. So like that, even the small jivas, small everything knows. Okay. Even say like for instance, even a cockroach. The cockroach has intelligence by itself. Whenever you just go and scare the cockroach knows where to run. It comes the way that it came. That means it knows where to run and it knows where to hide. So that means there is intelligence in every living species. And why the thing is happening? Because there's a thing called soul pervades. Okay. And we also understood that soul can never be destroyed. The soul can never be burnt, dried, cut, withered, and all these things. Okay. So we understood that way. And of course, Krishna also says, by knowing all these, a wise man do not lament, because we are simply changing our body. We are changing our body in every moment. Okay. Just imagine if you go back and see your last year, if you go and see your last year album, when you look at yourself, hey, I look like this. Or you just see yourself 2 years ago. Or see yourself 5 years ago. You look so different. Oh, look at it. Once upon a time, I look like this. Right? But 5 years later, when you see, you yourself cannot believe that you look like that. Right or not? You all should have experienced that, right? So that means even when we look at our old album and everything, we are still become distressed. Once upon a time, I was like this. So our body is keep changing every moment. Until the moment the body couldn't change further, the soul leaves that body and goes to the next one. Just like a car. When I have a car and I'm using my car, okay, I'm using my car, I'm driving and everything. Until one day, the car become really useless. The car start to give so much of big problem. It beyond repair. So what are the things that I need to do? I need to get rid of that car and get a new car. Right? So what are the possibilities for me changing the car? Number one, if the car become totally spoiled. Totally spoiled. That's one way. Second thing, if the car made an accident and become like total loss. Right? I need to destroy. I mean, no point keeping that car. Okay. So like that. So we are go on. We are moving on. We are moving on. Our bodies keep transmigrating again. I mean, it's keep changing and changing and changing until one moment it couldn't change further. The soul leaves that body and goes to the next one. So what are the another important thing that we have understood? So he says, in this effort of understanding yourself, all right? Because that's only when you look at this, I hope that you all have read your Gita, chapter 2. As you go on in that studies, it says the best way to achieve success in this life is devotional service. Okay. And the best way to, what do you call? There's no loss or diminution in this effort. Maybe in this birth, I'm a doctor. Next birth, if I'm born again, I have to still go to kindergarten. I have to still study ABC. I cannot say previous birth, I'm a doctor. So I'm just going to continue as being a doctor in this birth. It doesn't work that way. But similarly, whatever effort that we put in our in bhakti, especially in bhakti, in next birth, we just going to continue where we stopped. Okay, so that's no loss or diminution. It is worth the effort. Okay, so with that reflection, let's study. Let's continue with our chapter 3. Okay. ISKCON Ipoh, ISKCON Bhakti Yoga Center, First Garden Bhakti Yoga Center, in collaboration with ISKCON Malaysia, proudly presents Gita Gyan, the essence of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3. And this chapter 3, it's basically the title of this chapter 3 is Karma Yoga. So what is the summary of this chapter? Everyone must engage in some sort of activity in this material world, but action can either bind one into this world or liberate one from it. By acting for the pleasure of the Supreme, without selfish motives, one can liberate from the law of karma, action and reaction, and attain transcendental knowledge of the self and the Supreme. Okay, so that's a summary of this chapter. Okay, so we dedicate our today's studies to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And of course, this program is inspired by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, Governing Body Commission and Spiritual Master. And also, I like to dedicate this program, any success, all whatever that we achieve from these studies, all credit goes to His Grace Anadi Jagannath Prabhu of Bengaluru, ISKCON Sheshadipuram. Even though he has left 2 years ago, he left the world due to an accident, but his legacy is going on. And today, I'm so happy to see that many countries are taking up this effort. Okay, so he's a creator and brainchild of the essence of Gita Gyan program worldwide. Okay, now let's look at today's Mahatmya. All right, today's Mahatmya, the third Mahatmya, or the glories of studying Bhagavad Gita by Adi Shankara. So he says, Maline mochanam pumsam jala snanam dine dine. Jala means water, snanam means bathing, dine dine. Sakrit Gita Amrita Snanam Sangsara Mala Nashanam. Samsara means what? Suffering. Even in Malay also we call Sangsara, right? We call Sangsara. Okay. So Sangsara means all that suffering. Okay. Some Mala. Mala means garland of suffering. Nashanam. In Tamil, what we call Nashanam. Nashama Pochi. Totally gone. Totally destroyed. Okay, so in other words, the translation, one may cleanse himself daily by taking a bath in water. But if one takes a bath even once, again, one may cleanse himself daily by taking a bath in water. But if one takes a bath even once, in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, for him, the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished. So what does that mean? Nashanam, Sangsara Mala Nashanam, totally vanquished. All right, totally, all the Sangsara sufferings totally vanquished. So when we look at this, why here Adi Shankara called this Bhagavad Gita as Ganga? See, the Ganga comes from the feet of Vishnu, the Trivikram. You know, the Malayali worships celebrate this Onam, the Onam Pandigi, right? Onam. What is that celebration? When Vishnu came as a dwarf, he asked for 3 pieces of land, all right, to Bali Maharaj. So the third one, it goes up. So when his toe hit that crack, that the universal covering, from there fell a sacred water. And the water came so fast. It washed the feet of Vishnu. When he was putting the leg up there, it washed the feet, and the water came so fast, in such a full force, and that could destroy the entire universe because the force of the water was such. At that time, nobody could subdue that, and they call upon Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva went there and stand there. The water came and hit his head and bounced back. So sometimes when you see the water comes fast, we put something where you hit the thing and bounce back, the velocity, that means the strength, the speed of the water will reduce. So like that, it came down. Then you can see then came to this material world and start from this Himalaya place called Gomukhi. Go means cow. Mukhi means face. The place where Ganga starts, the place looks like the face of a cow. You can even Google it. What is Gomukhi? Go, G-O-M-U-K-H-I. Gomukhi. You can Google it. Right? You see Gomukhi, it's like eyes, like a cow. From inside, the Ganga will flow out. Okay? So, Because Ganga came from the feet of Vishnu, and Bhagavad Gita is from his lotus mouth. So everything that comes from him is considered Ganga, sacred water. So that means when we are reading Bhagavad Gita every day, that means we are bathing in Ganga daily. We can't afford to go to Ganga and bathe there. Okay. First of all, it is not possible. It is in overseas. Of course, we have to go from here to India. Second of all, for some people, when you go to certain place of Ganga, we won't even have to jump into the water because of that, a lot of things happening there. And that is going to be offense. Oh, look at Ganga, so dirty. Finish, that's offense. And now it's a rainy season. Rainy season and a cold season has started in India. The water will be freezing. If you go inside, take a dip, your heart may stop. One of my friends is there now, right? So he's there. I asked him, so how it feels? Oh my God, I could somehow or other survived. Heart can stop. It's that cold. Okay. So that's going to be a very troublesome way of doing that ritual, bathing in Ganga. So there's another alternative Adi Shankara suggested. Read Gita daily. That means you are bathing in Ganga every day. So by doing that, the dirt of material life, because this material life is always dirty. All right. What is that? What is that material life condition? Suffering, miserable, okay, frustration, hypocritic. People are hypocrites. They're frustrating. A lot of things are happening. All right. So all this dirt of material life is all together vanquished. Why? How is that possible? You will know as you go on in studying Bhagavad Gita in the next 15 days. All right. Because today is chapter 3. We've got another 15 days to go to finish up Bhagavad Gita. All right. Let's look at understanding the Gita. Arjuna was in relationship with the Lord as a friend. Okay, remember that we have spoke about 5 ways of being a friend to Krishna, right? I think yesterday or day before yesterday, the 5 ways we can create friendship with Krishna. One as a lover, one as a what they call as this thing as a mother, one as a friend or whatever. Okay, but Arjuna was in relationship with Lord as a friend, and of course there's a gulf of difference between the friendship and the friendship found in the material world. Of course, there's a big difference. This is transcendental friendship, which cannot be had by everyone. Of course, everyone has a particular relationship with the Lord. This is something that I want to highlight here. Just give me a second. Let me get the highlighter. Okay. So, what it says here, it's very, very, very interesting. So, what it says, everyone has a particular relationship with the Lord. What does that mean? Everyone has a particular relationship with the Lord. We may think, well, I am not from this faith, or I am not from this type of... No, it doesn't matter. Even the worm in the stool. All right. You see, you go to the stool. If you go out, you see the dog shit, and on top you can see on stool dancing. That means that the worm is moving because there's a soul inside there, right? So even that worm in the stool, until human being, every one of us has a particular relationship with the Lord. We will study as we go on that. What is that relationship is all about? Jivatma, Paramatma, right? And what is Jivatma? Who am I, all right? What is a minute soul? So we'll study. But that means what Prabhupada is telling here, everyone has a particular relationship with the Lord. Particular relationship means what? That means you have your authentic relationship with the Lord. It is not a standard relationship. All right. There's some, they call Mayavadis. Mayavadis is the one who says everything is equal. Everything is same. God is one. Everything is one. But if everything is one, all the thing that produced by the nature should be one. All right. Example is mic. The day they produce this mic, maybe the day they in that factory they produce maybe 1,000 mics. All the 1,000 mics will look alike, will function alike, and they only have one type of manual for all the 1,000 mics, because everything functions by itself. If I buy a car, in that assembly line, they produce hundreds and thousands of cars, and all the cars act and function in the same level. There's not car that functions differently. But how can a human being function in a different way? How can a human being function in a different way? Right? Why that human being all have a very authentic relationship? Why do the human being has what they call very authentic desires, the way of life, right? Example, I've got this is the one of the most, I mean, please pardon me, I'm just giving an example only. Once in my former working place, all right, many years ago, in my next office there's a guy, a Chinese guy, tall and very handsome. Okay, he looked almost like the former Penang chief minister. The former Penang chief minister. That means when a Gerakan Party, what is him? What is his name? What is his name? Go Chok Tong or something. Okay, I think the guy is named by Go or something like that. Slim, tall, wearing specs, and very good looking. All right, and he fell in love with an Indian lady, and that lady, she is what do you call what do you call that? When they don't born completely. What do you call that? What is the word?
Handicap.
Huh?
Handicap.
No. Down syndrome. Down syndrome. You know that Down syndrome. You know how they look?
No, they
Hello?
look like mongoloid.
Huh? Look like what?
Mongoloid.
Huh? I can't hear you.
Mongoloid. Mongoloid.
They look. I have no idea. Okay. You know how the Down syndrome people look like, right? Their face like one kind, like the face is not deformed. They couldn't walk straight, Or in other words, I shouldn't use the word, but she doesn't look like, she's not pretty at all. Right? She is like, okay, Down syndrome. If you don't know what is Down syndrome, please Google it. I shouldn't use that word. I don't want to use that word to express how she looks. It's against my principle. So she's a Down syndrome person. And he's very handsome and she's totally opposite. All right? She's extremely dark and she's extremely, this thing. But what made that guy to fall in love with such a person? Whenever we stand outside, and he used to hold the umbrella for her, and both of them will be walking for lunch. And we all be standing and looking at them and say, my God, these guys, such a amazing. So when all of us are created equally, how can we have different understanding? All right. They say the beauty is in the eyes of beholder. Even the beauty is also has a authentic and what they call it has an authentic understanding or interpretation. Okay, so it's not that all of us have a particular relationship. In other words, we are all individual person. That's why you are given a thumbprint, which is individual. No one has your thumbprint. The way you look is your authentic look. No one can look exactly how you looked. My father-in-law is identical twins. When my children last time goes to them, they look so alike, but there'll be some difference. Right? My father-in-law's his twin brother, his voice different, and the way he put his mouth, the way he walked different. There is always different. There cannot be everyone look exactly alike. So when everyone has a particular relationship, means all of us are individual person and we have our own particular relationship with the Lord. And that relationship is authentic. And that relationship is evoked. How we know? Okay, how to find out that relationship with the Lord? Okay, that means I'm saying, yes, you have a relationship, but now how to find out? Okay, the thing is evoked by perfection of devotional service. When your devotional service become perfect, it is evoked. Okay, evoked. But in the present status of our life, not only have we forgotten the Supreme Lord, but we have also forgotten our eternal relationship. All right, we've not only forgotten that, but we also forgotten our relationship with the Lord. Every living being means everything that you can see around you, like a fly, mosquito, everything, all living being out of many, many, many billions and trillions of living beings, what Krishna says, has a particular relationship with the Lord eternally. They have a particular relationship with the Lord. All right. These and you know what is the worst thing to do? When we start to generalize. That's why we should not generalize. Even when we're going to have many children, see, we have 3 children, all the 3 children is different. They got all different. The way they do things is totally different. Okay. All right. They have their particular relationship. And what you call that? They call this as Swarupa, or your original form. By the process of devotional service, one can revive that Swarupa. What does revive means? All right. What does revive means? All right. Example here. Okay. Who like to participate? Dasarathan, can you on your camera? I mean, your unmute yourself and talk to me. Possible?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Oh, great, Dasarathan. Okay, Dasarathan, you are a teacher, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
What do you teach?
English.
Okay, now English. Okay, now, when a person is fainted, okay, a person has fainted, okay, and now that person suddenly come back to consciousness. What do you call that? Any idea? Have you seen person
regain consciousness?
Yes. What is the term called? Regain consciousness. What is that called?
Awake? No.
Another word? The standard word?
Alive? No.
Okay. Example. Do you know how to do CPR? First aid?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you see the person has fainted. A person has fainted right in front of you. Or the person got a heart attack, suddenly stop breathing. Okay. And now you go and do CPR. You do your CPR, you press the lungs and you blow the air and everything. And suddenly the flow come back to life. What do you call that? When people ask you, how do you answer them? He is?
Alive.
Yeah.
Relive.
No. What is that again? The word?
Relive. Relieve.
Revive.
Revive, yeah.
Revive. Example. Okay, very good. Thank you, Dasaran. What is the revive means? What is the revive means? Formerly, that person was alive. Formerly, the person was alive. In between, for a short moment, the person has stopped breathing, died. So Dasarathan go and do the CPR and everything. He comes back to life. So the process called revival. You revive him. Or in other words, I have my consciousness. I'm conscious walking around. Suddenly, boom, I fall down, I fainted. So Dasarathan come and give me first aid. And bring back my consciousness. So what do you call that? Revive. So the word revival means we must understand. Formerly, I had my consciousness. In between, I have lost my consciousness. And at the end, I got back my consciousness. So formerly, I had it. In between, I have lost it. And at last, I got it. Formerly, I was alive. Suddenly, I stopped breathing. And Dasarathan did a first aid and I come back to life. So I was alive before. And in between, I stopped breathing. And after that, I came back to life. So that means you had it. In between, you have lost it. And at the end of the day, you're getting it back. So that is what they call revive. So what it is, by the process of devotional service, one can revive. What does that mean? One can revive. One can revive. What does that mean? That means formerly, all of us were spiritual. We were all formerly we remember our relationship with Krishna, with God. But in between, we have forgotten it. Why? Because due to the association, because see so many things, we forgot. We forgot everything. But when we start to practice our devotional service properly, we can get back that old memory again. We can get back that old thing. So we can revive our original consciousness. All of you got it? Anyone don't understand? You can thumbs up, revive, hands up or something like that. All of you got it? You understand, eh? because this is a very, very, very important philosophy. So you revive means formerly you had it, in between you have forgotten it, you have lost it, and now you're going to get it back. And the process is called devotional service. So one can revive that Swarupa, your original self. And in that stage is called Swarupa Siddhi. Swarupa Siddhi. What does that mean? Perfection of one's constitutional position. And I think yesterday we spoke about constitution. Constitution means what? Your original self. Your original self. Like constitution means what? What you are originally. And that's a perfection of this. So Arjuna was a devotee and he was in touch with Supreme Lord in friendship. Okay? Any questions so far? All got it? All right. Now, okay, with that, let's start our chapter 3. In the chapter 3, we call Karma Yoga. First of all, we must understand what is yoga means. Yoga means it's not the stretching exercise. Hands there, hands here, legs up and all this. It's not yoga. All right. Yoga means linking. Linking with God, we call yoga. Okay. Say like, for instance, when you link with someone, you are having association. Say like, for instance, when you're okay, like for instance, I'm a very lovable person. I'm a very lovable person. So towards my wife is different, and towards my other lady friends is different. I'm a very lovable person. I'm a very compassionate person. I cannot love the same way I love my wife too. I cannot express that kind of love to other lady friends. All right. So the love with my wife is called love and affection. All right. It's beyond. But with other friend, love and compassion. Okay. So similarly, when we talk about yoga, yoga means when you're linking yourself with God, is called yoga. So now karma means what? Karma, I have explained to you yesterday. Karma means activity. How can we engage all our activities to God? That is chapter 3. So now let's look at this. Arjuna is asking question. Okay. Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat king karmani gore mang niyojayasi keshava. So now let's look at this. Arjuna sounds irritated. Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani gore. What is gore? Gore means ghastly, horrible. Have you heard about Agori? You all heard about Agori, the renunciate in Kasi? They used to eat. Any one of you heard Agori or not? Come on, just can even text me. Yes, the one who eats human flesh. Yes, Agori. That means these are the people who look extremely scary. Agoris. So Agori means person. Gori means ghastly looking person. So now he's saying, that kim karmani, what are you asking me to engage? Karmani, gore in ghastly warfare. Niyo jayasi Keshava. So Arjuna said, oh Janardana, oh Keshava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare? Why? If you think intelligence is better than fruitive work, if you think intelligence is better than fruitive work, why you want me to fight? What does that mean? That means when you ask to use the intelligence, I know it is not worth killing my family members. It is not worth for me to get cursed from their wife. Imagine when you go there and just said, Arjuna, what did my husband did to you? He was your childhood friend. How could you have had to kill him? Are you a human being? When the lady asked this question to me, how am I going to take it? I don't want to live in full my life. I don't want to have the guilt feeling. To avoid that is intelligent. Right? So now you see, if you think intelligence is better, then fruitive work. What is a fruitive work? Fruitive work means, in Tamil we call palam. Palan edirpaathu vela seirathu. Palan. Fruit. Palam. So fruitive work means, I do something, I expect to get something. I plant a tree because I want to enjoy the fruit. I go to work. End of the month, I'm going to get salary. The salary is the fruit of your activity. So now you're telling is if your intelligence is better, why you want to engage me in this fruitive work? Why to fight and rule the kingdom? What for? He asked that question. You all understand? Now let's see what Krishna's. Okay, then after that, he continues 3.2. Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhi mohaya shiva buddhi mohaya siva me tat ekam vada nishchitya yena shreyohang apnuyam. Vyamishreneva vakyena. Vakyena, vaku, the word that you use, vaku, vakyena. Buddhim, intelligent, moha, I'm getting confused. Tat ekam vada nishchitya. Nishchitya means what? In Tamil we call nichiyamaga. Nichiyamaga solunga enna na seiyano. Nichiyama. Tell me for definite. That means it's a definite word. Nichya. Nishchya. Yena shreyo aham apnuyam. Which is going to be beneficial for me. So he says, my intelligence is bewildered. All right? By your equivocal instruction. What is equivocal instruction means? First, you say intelligent better. Then he says to give up because he said fight the war because you have to fight because you are the soldier. But at the same time, you say use your brains, use your intelligence. All right? So, which is which now? If I use my intelligence, I rather don't fight. If I want to have that, if I want to have the benefit of the war, winning the kingdom, I have to fight. So, therefore, please tell me decisively, Nishchitya. Tell me decisively, make a decision, firmly tell me. All right, I have no time to beat around the bush. Of course, he say, I have no time to beat around the bush. He's already depressed. He's already confused. You already cannot think straight. Please tell me decisively. All right, and what is that? What you want to know decisively? Which will be the most beneficial for me? The most beneficial. Which will be benefiting me? Which might be benefiting me. He didn't use that word, which might. All right? Or which, please tell me or give me suggestion. What is best for me? He said, tell me decisively, oh Krishna. The best for me, the thing that's going to benefit me the most. All right? Then after that, 3.4, Krishna starts speaking. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Na Karmanang Anaramban Naiskarmyang Purushošnute Nacha Sanyasanat Eva Siddhim Samadhi Gacchati. The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna said, not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction. Na karmanam. Na means no. Karma means activity. Anaramban, merely abstaining. So, not by merely abstaining, that means not by not doing anything, work, one can achieve freedom from reaction. In other words, if I don't do anything, I sit at home, it's not necessary you're going to escape from the reaction. And at the same time, he says, Naiskarmyam Purushashnute, na cha sanyasat. Na means no. Cha means also. That means no also sannyasa. Even you take sannyasi, renounce. Okay, no, by renunciation alone, one can attain perfection. So in other words, what Krishna is saying, not merely abstaining your work from work, you can achieve freedom. All right, not by not doing, you're going to attain freedom. No. At the same time, not by renouncing, giving up everything, you can attain perfection. All right. Like sometimes when you see, oh, I don't want to have any reaction. I simply go home and just sit in one place. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get a reaction. Of course. People are going to call you. People are going to ask, why is this guy? Why is he not coming? All right. So there'll be still a reaction. You come back and say, you have wasted your time. No, there'll be some reaction. At the same time, I say, oh, I want to give up everything. I'll take sannyasi. No, I just want to renounce everything. I want to go into the jungle and meditate. By doing that, you're also not going to attain perfection. You cannot be perfect by doing that. So how? So 3.5, Krishna says, this is very important. Think about it very nicely. Nahi kaschit shanam api jatu tistatya karma krit karyate vasha karma Sarva Prakriti Jair Gunai. So now Krishna is saying, everyone is forced to act helplessly. Sometimes, whether we like it or not, we are all helpless people. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired. According to the qualities that he has acquired from the modes of nature. So the nature has 3 modes. We will discuss as we go on. So there is a mode. Example, okay. What's her name? Angelina Jolie, right? She adopted some children from Sudan. The child was almost to die. It's malnutrient. He just couldn't move. He just standing one place. So much hunger. His child is dying. So Angelina Jolie went and adopted the child. But today the child is already teenager and growing up in America. So today when you look at her children, it looks totally different. They look so modern. They are so rich. They look so fantastic compared to what they looked like that. So we are all changing according to the modes of material nature. Okay. How we are changing? We are doing it helplessly. When we go to Britain, UK, whether you like it or not, your English start to sound British. All right. You start to speak English, British English. You know, like example, BUS, we call it bus, but they call booze. You know, when I went there, they asked, where can I go to the booze? I was thinking, you want to booze? Booze? You want to drink now? 7 o'clock in the morning, you are asking about boozing. No, booze. Booze. What booze? Then he said, oh, bus. Bus? Booze. Even the cup, they call coupe. Right? So we go to other countries, the way we talk and everything will change. Right? So it's the nature that it's forcing us to act helplessly. Right? So according to the nature we have acquired from the modes of material nature, I tell you, material nature is very nasty. Therefore, no one can refrain. No one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Right? No one can refrain. No one can say, I'm not going to do anything. Refrain from doing nothing. Right? So when you look at this, the material nature is such a place and we are all helpless. Okay? We are all helpless. Now, I'd like to show you the sad reality of life. Okay? The sad reality of life that happened to this guy. All right? It's a real life story.
இன்னைக்கு ராத்திரி காலையில நீங்க வந்து பார்க்கலாம் தொங்கிக்கிட்டு கிடப்பேன் எத்தனை மணிக்கு டைம் கரெக்டா நீங்க காலையில வந்து 7 மணி 8 மணிக்கெல்லாம் நீ வந்து பார்க்கலாம் காலையில வீட்டு மணி எத்தனை மணி சாவ போறேன் ஆமா உனக்கு தலையில சாவலதான்ற ஆமா சரி ஏன்னா நான் இப்ப 5 அடியில சுத்திக்கிட்டு கஷ்டப்பட்டுக்கிட்டு இருக்கேன் நீ வந்து 5 அடிக்காரனா இருக்கற ஆமா நான் சரி
Okay, what happened to this guy? He's a government pensioner. He's getting pension. And he gathered with his friends in a coffee shop. He's telling them, you come and see me tomorrow morning, I'll be hanging, I'll be dead. So all the friends thought he was joking. He's asking, why? What happened to you? Why? You see, because as you go on, of course, he's spoken in Tamil language. He says, he's deprived of everything. The friends will be telling, you got all the money, you have everything. So what's the point? Why? Enjoy lah. Go and enjoy yourself. Why? Say, no, what's the point? I'm not happy because I couldn't see my grandchildren. Because he couldn't see my grandchildren, the children have taken the grandchildren away. The wife went and stayed with the grandchildren. The daughter or the son doesn't want to bring the child to him and everything. So after saying all that, because he's so depressed and he was like so much entangled, the material nature, eventually next day, he hanged himself. They found him hanging himself in this thing. So that is the sad reality of life. All of us are helpless in this manner. We are all trying to do something. We are all trying to create something. We try to bring some changes in life. We all try to create something. But the cruel nature is there. And it always makes the person, bewilder the person, And this is what happened. And he has everything. The place he's staying is quite a high-class place. And eventually, he committed suicide. So, but at the same time, 3.6, after that, Krishna says that all of us need to help. We are, even though that this nature and we all have to, what they call, act, we all have to do something. We cannot go on being, okay, example, okay, let's look at this verse again. So he says, therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. But at the same time, Krishna says, Karmendriyani Sanyamya Ya Aste Manasa Smaran Indriyartan Vimudatma Mityachara Sa Uchate. What Krishna says here. One who restrained the sense of action. That means one who controls the sense of action. But the mind dwells on the sense object. Certainly deludes himself and is called pretender. Example, when sometimes taking a vow. Okay, I'm taking a vow. Example, like for instance, all right, whatever vow, okay, you're going to do some prayers. And he said, for the next 40 days, I'm going to be a vegetarian. I'm going to fast. I'm not going to wear slipper. I'm just going to be I'm going to practice austerity because I've taken a vow for doing some ritual religious process. But when you take that vow, but your mind still dwells in Kentucky Fried Chicken. When you're trying to control your senses, but suddenly your neighbor cooks something, the smell will come down, down, down. Oh my God. No, I'm fasting. But your mind thinking, oh, how the thing tastes like. I wish the 40 days vrata, the fast finish, so I can simply go and indulge myself, simply go and whack. This is called pretending. All right. Just look at the sadhu here. This is a sadhu. All right. He is a monk. He is supposed to, he has a Kamandalu. Kamandalu means he is a sannyasi. He renounced the world. But look at him. He is with a phone and he is a Kamandalu and with a cigarette in his hand, happily. So this is called pretender. So what we can understand from here? Okay, we are supposed to do our thing. But when we try to artificially stop doing something, we are only pretending. We are not being authentic. All right? We are just trying to pretend, or just like a showmanship. So what we can understand from it, Krishna says, be yourself. You do not need to pretend. Because this kind of pretend, it dilutes yourself. All right? It dilutes, it confuses you. And you can even go worse. What they call that, like for instance, a person who quits smoking, he goes to the thing and takes a patch. Then after that, his mind still dwells in that. What do you call that? Suddenly, a relapse. So suddenly when the relapse happens, like for instance, the person only drink around maybe 3 or 4 cans of beer every day. He go for rehab. He try to stop. After some time, when the relapse happen, he end up drinking maybe 1 crate of beer. So something like that. All right. So this is 3.6. And now, Niskarma Karma Yoga. What it says? Yaknartat karmano nyatra loko yang karma bandhana tat artang karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. In 3.9. Then, if you don't want to pretend, so what you should do? So now, Krishna is saying, sacrifice. Yaknartat karma nyatra lokom karma bandhana. Okay. So it's a work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu. The work done as a sacrifice Vishnu has to be performed. Okay, the work done as a sacrifice Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. If not, all the work that you're going to create bondage. Okay, it's going to bond you. You're going to stuck. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. And in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. So that means, in other words, we are, somehow or other, we have to offer our work as a sacrifice, tyaga. Okay? Because we understand that whatever things that we are having, the instrument that we are using, nothing is mine. Everything we are using, the nature, the law of nature, the combination, everything is the ingredient all prepared by God. So what Krishna says here, that work, all the thing that you do has to do as a give as a sacrifice to Vishnu. Okay. So if you don't do that, whatever work that you do is going to create bondage. It's going to create karma, bad karma. Okay, I'll give you a good example. Okay, like this. Say, the food that we eat, okay, we prepare the food purely vegetarian, without onion and garlic, all right, without any food like pungent food, without all these things. We prepare the food nicely, okay, then we offer it to Krishna. We offer it to Krishna in the sense, say that I would like to know, please accept this food, this preparation. Hope I'm offering it as a sacrifice to you, so that I can take it as a remnants. What is remnant means? Prashadam. So if I take it as a remnant, that means I'm taking the mercy. So the karma is taken and I'm only consuming as a mercy. Do you all understand this? Any questions? Can you follow me on this? Right? That means the food I cook, some say, hey, even the vegetable got life. Even this thing, yes. Of course, to eat that is, of course, it's eating sin, eating karma. So what we do, we take it, we cook it nicely, we put it nicely, and we offer it to Krishna. And after that, we relish it. We take it as prashadam. Prashadam means sanctified. Or it is the food, we call it as mercy. Prashadam means mercy. All right? It is no more sin there. Okay, now, so when we offer the food, I don't bring my entire cooker and put in front of Krishna. I don't bring my pot of curry and I bring it in front of Krishna. I don't take my whole preparation in a pot and all this cooker. I just put it in front of Krishna. Krishna, please take it. No, it doesn't work that way. What I will do, I will take it and put all in a small container and I just put it in front of Krishna. Krishna, please accept it. Kindly accept my offering. We pray that way. Similarly, the way that we want to come out from this karmic reaction, say like example, you are going to work. From Monday, say like Dasarathan, you are a teacher. All right, you are teaching English. Is that teaching English is devotional service? No. Yes or not? You are teaching English to just teaching English. I mean, openly you're teaching English. But that teaching English is not devotional service. Yes or not? You go there, you teach them a few hours and come back. It got nothing to do with serving Krishna, right? But what do you do when end of the month, when you get a salary, all right, you just take a small portion of your salary, whatever amount, 5 ringgit, 10 ringgit, 50 ringgit, 100 ringgit, all according to your affordability. According to affordability. You just take a small portion of your pay and you engage in buying some Bhagavad Gita so that you can distribute. That means you're using your money as a sacrifice in giving others Krishna, or you're offering to Krishna. All right. So what happened? Your entire salary becomes purified. When your entire salary is purified, your karma, your action of going to work, punching card and go to the class, teaching them, maybe screaming at them, marking them, or whatever, teaching them, all that activities that you do for that month becomes devotional service. So that entire activity that you're going and teaching English, your teaching English becomes devotional service. Or it becomes the karma, which is not going to create karma bandhana. It's not going to create attachment or bondage. All right. So that means you will always create, it doesn't create any bondage. Okay. You all understand? Everyone? All good?
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna. Okay. Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. So you got it there. So that's called that work done as sacrifice. Okay. Example. Now, what are the work that create bondage and the work that that is okay? For instance, when you look at the doctor uses knife to save a patient, but the convict used the knife to kill a person. Or the terrorists use the gun to terrorize, but the soldiers use the gun to protect. So both of them are doing the same thing. But of course, what happened? The activity that you're doing is different. Example, the soldiers are using it for the good purpose, but the terrorist using it at a wrong purpose. So in other words, so when the terrorist carries the gun and go, they are subject to be killed. Or if the convict carries the knife and go, he can be caught by police. All right. So similarly, if we are not sacrificing whatever that we have gained from this thing for the satisfaction of Vishnu, all our activities will create bondage. And in that bondage, a person will suffer accordingly. Okay. Now it's 8:27. Shall we take a short break? Because I believe today the messages are quite strong here. Now is shall we take 3 minutes break? Okay.
Yes.
Stretch yourself. Okay. Then we'll meet again in just 3 minutes. Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay. 3:10. Okay. In 3:10, what it says here? Okay. Sahayakna praja shristva puro vacha prajapati anena prasavishyadvam esha vostva istakamaduk. Okay, what it means here? In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generation of men and demigods, devas, along with the sacrifice for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yagya," sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation at last. Okay. So in the creation, in the beginning of creation, so the Lord have created all creatures and also sent forth generations. Okay. They made them all self-sufficient. Okay. And he created men and devas. Okay. Demigods, devas. And along with the sacrifice of Vishnu, what does that mean? Example, see, when we do sacrifice, yeah, sure, Prabhu, no problem. So when we do sacrifice, so sacrifice means what we do? We always end with the word swaha. Okay. Om Keshavaya Swaha, and they pour this thing. So swaha means offering. I mean, swaha means the tongue of Vishnu. So the fire as the tongue of Vishnu, accepting your offering. All right. So now, that's why he said that sacrifice is very, very important. So what we are sacrificing now, whatever things that we do, whatever income that we earn or whatever, we just sacrifice it to Vishnu. Not the full thing, but just a small drop. All right. And by doing that, by that performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. So when we are not affected by karma, all right, we can have, our life will be very sublime. Okay. And looks at now 11. Devan bhavayata nena te deva bhavayantu va parasparang bhavayantaha shreya param avapshyata. So the demigods or the devas being pleased by sacrifice will also please you. And thus, by cooperation between men and demigods, that means the devas, prosperity will reign for all. So what does that mean? Why when we offer to Vishnu, but end up the devas are satisfied? What is the reason? Right? It is just like this. When you see a tree, we water the root. We do not water the leaf, the twigs, or the fruit. When we are hungry, we don't feed our eyes, we don't feed our nose. We feed our stomach. When the stomach is full, everything in our body, everything is satisfied. Similarly, when the root is satisfied, all the branch and twigs are all satisfied. So when we offer as offering, when we sacrifice everything for Vishnu, all the devatas, everyone will be very pleased with you. And the cooperation, that means with that cooperation, all right, all will be, the prosperity will reign for all. Everything will be happy. Okay. Now let's look at verse 14. Annat bhavanti bhutani pranyat anna sambhava Yaknat bhavati parjanyo yakna karma samudbhava. What it says? All living bodies subsist on food grains. Subsist on food grains. That means all living body survive with food grains, which are produced from the rain. Yes or not? The rains are produced from performance of yagya, sacrifice. And yagya is born of prescribed duty. Example, how do we get grains? Because there is a rain. And where the rain come from? The rain come from the devas called Indra. So that means when there is a cooperation between man and devas and everything, so prosperity reign for all means we are not talking about prosperity or financial prosperity. That means we have enough food to eat. There's no natural disaster, and everything is peaceful. All right. So that means all these things are produced from yagya. So yagya means when you do fire sacrifice. All right. But how you can do that? Because of your prescribed duty. When my job is that when I've given that certain job as a prescribed duty, right? When I perform my job properly, when whatever income that I earn from there, when I start to do this sacrifice, everything will be peaceful and everything will be balanced. Okay. But at the same time, 3:16, Krishna is saying, Evang pravartitam chakram nanu vartayati haya agayur indriya ramo mogang partha sajivati. What he says? My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in the human life the cycle of sacrifice. What happened to a person who doesn't sacrifice? Thus established by the Vedas. Okay, everything that he is doing, he doesn't perform sacrifice. He always, what they call selfish. He always, whatever income that he get, he keep it for himself. He do not sacrifice anything. Whatever gains, all right, whatever gains and everything, he keep it to himself without any form of sacrifice. All right, certainly leads life full of sin. His life is certainly full of sin, and living only for the satisfaction of the senses. That means he's only living for his own enjoyment and this thing. And Krishna says, such a person lives in vain. So that means he say that his life is totally wasted. He lives in vain. Okay. Example. Okay, I give you for your understanding, I give you a very crude example. Okay, example like this. When I earn a lot of money, and I do not sacrifice that cash, I do not declare that income, I do not pay tax. Whatever I earn, I keep it to myself for my own satisfaction. I'm not sacrificing like paying tax. Example. What will happen? Suddenly the inland revenue will find out, they'll come to you and they will put a heavy fine, hefty fine, and they'll take half of the property or whatever. If you don't pay, even you can declare as bankrupt. So this kind of person who always live a life of a selfish person, his life is totally wasted. Even though his life is alive, even though he's moving and acting and everything, Krishna says that person's life is he just lives in vain. That means his life is totally wasted. And of course, he's full of sin. Okay? Because in our activity of earning money, there can be some sinful reaction can establish. Example, I'm waking up in the morning, I'm rushing. Suddenly I see a poor dog that cross, I just hit the dog. I kill the dog. Right? Then I go to work and suddenly you do something. And of course, you say some office politics. All right? You give a wrong testimony. You're giving a wrong witness. The giving a wrong witness is sinful. In Srimad Bhagavatam, you can study that. Or in Garuda Purana. What are the person, which type of hell the flow will suffer if he gives a wrong witnesses? So like that, in our course of our duty and everything, to survive, to this thing, the survival of the fetus, we may make a lot of mistakes. But when we take the result of that job and sacrifice it for Krishna, Vishnu, all that things that we did is nullified, and you don't get any reaction from that in that process. There's no reaction. So when there's no reaction in that process, that means there's no bondage. So that means you will live life happily. But if there is a bondage, your life is already full of sin. You are giving a wrong witness. You are giving a wrong testimony. You are maybe a lot of things can happen while we are in working world. All right. So that means we live a life full of sin. And of course, this type of life is wasted. Moga. Moga means uncontrolled senses. Okay. Now, in text 20, Krishna says, Karmanaiva hi sangsiddhim ashita janakadaya loka sangraham evapi sampashyan kartum arhasi. What Krishna says here? Kings such as Janaka. Who is Janaka? Janaka is the father of Janaki. Janaki is the wife of Lord Ram. So he is Lord Ram's father-in-law. He says kings like Janaka attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duty. Just by performing his prescribed duty properly, all right, he attained perfection. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, Krishna is telling Arjuna, just for the sake of educating people in general, you should perform your work. So that means just for the sake of educating others, you should perform your job as a soldier. You have to fight. Okay? Because to run away from prescribed duty is insanity. It's crazy. And also, to do your job, okay, also Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I'm not in this chapter or what. Even though you perform your work incompletely, is better than doing others' work properly. In other words, even though you do your job imperfectly, there's a lot of imperfection, a lot of fault, but still you have to go on, remain doing your duty. All right. So, and after that he says, yat acharati shreshtas tat eve taro jana sayat pramanam kurute lokas tat anuvartate. He says, whatever action a great man perform, common men follow. And whatever standard he sets by exemplary act, the whole world pursues. So Krishna says that. So that means you have to set a good example. You cannot set an example because you are a great man. That's why to be successful is not a hard thing to do. But to maintain success is the most toughest thing to do. After you become success, you are at the limelight. Whatever nonsense thing that you do, people will follow. Oh, you know that person, he does that. Oh, I also do that. Okay? Because they are setting an example. Because every person are looking up toward a great person. So that's why Krishna says, you as a soldier, you have to fight. If you're going to set a wrong example of running away from warfare due to some miserly weaknesses, due to compassion, in the future is going to create so much of trouble. Everybody go to the war, they don't like halfway, they run back. In those days, there's no such thing. They show the white flag, the flag of truce. They show the white flag and chabut. There's no such thing. They fight till the end. But of course, nowadays is totally different. In Kali Yuga, the entire art of war is totally different. It's totally distinct. Until they need to create a sniper from miles away, the first see, and shoot, aim and shoot. And they call as a warrior. Right? So it's all degraded because someone have made that. So it somehow or other it continues. Then in 22, Krishna also says, Name partasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta evacha karmani. What Krishna says, O son of Pritha, there's no work prescribed for me. Krishna says, there's no work is prescribed for me within the three planetary system. What is the three planetary system? We will discuss as we go on. Nor am I want of anything. I also do not want anything. Nor have I need to obtain anything. So Krishna says, I do not need to obtain anything. And yet I'm engaged in my prescribed duty. So Krishna says, but still I am performing my duty. All right. So how is it? Then after that, Krishna also giving warning. He's telling, Yadi yaham na varteyang jatu karmanya tandrita mama varta nu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. What he says? For if I ever failed to engage in carefully performing prescribed duty, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. Even Krishna says, even if I fail to perform my duty, the whole world going to follow me. So just for the sake of educating them, even though the Supreme Personality, when I'm here in acting as a king and everything, I'm also doing my job. I'm doing my duty. All right. Example like this. Like Krishna, he had many queens. So what he did, he created what they call many palaces for each queen, and he expanded and entered into every palaces. In every palaces, he's doing different activities. So he still perform his duty as a father, as a king, as a son, and everything. And this is one good example, like Sudama Brahmana. This Sudama is a very poor devotee, very poor, extremely poor, and he happens to be Krishna's classmate in Gurukula. Okay, those days they go to Gurukula, and he was Krishna's classmate. And because of his extreme poverty, the wife tells that Sudama, can you please go and ask Krishna for something? Since he's your classmate, he's your best friend, why not you just go and ask something from him? He definitely will help you, because after all, he's a king. He need to make sure that everyone is satisfied. So he was so hesitant. And he went with some what they call what rice? What they call what rice they call that? Cheap rice. Cheap rice. Hi, Prahlad Prabhu, you're here. Hare Krishna. Okay. Cheap rice. All right. He took some cheap rice and went and visited him. He only had that cheap rice. All right. So he took that cheap rice. He was walking, and of course, while he was walking, he was tied on his dhoti, and eventually the cheap rice became soiled, soaked in sweat and whatever. It became like so soiled. All right. After he went there, when he was in such a terrible condition, and he went to that palace and told the guard, please go and tell Krishna I'm Sudama is here, his classmate. And the classmates, I mean the what they call? The guards laughed at him. You? Krishna's classmate? What, are you joking? No, go and tell him. Okay, anyway. Then they went inside and told Krishna, there's one beggar out there, he's telling he's your classmate. He said, really? What is his name? He said, Sudama. Sudama? Sudama is here. He ran out and started to receive him. He brought him into the thing, he brought into his personal chamber, put him to sit very comfortably. He washed his feet and started to give him some sweet things, and he started to ask some nice questions. And after that, he asked, you came empty-handed, Sudama? Do you know that when you want to go into people's house, you have to bring some gift? You came empty-handed? I said, no, I have something. He said, what? Well, I don't want to show him, because the thing is like cheap rice and soaked. And he said, well, then he said, no, give me that. So when Sudama gave him the cheap rice, he straight away put it into his mouth. He said, wow, he was so satisfied. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, even Lord Krishna performed his duty as a king and worshipped the devotee. All right. So that is what he says. So he set an example. When a devotee comes, every one of us must pay respect to him. All right. He set that example. All right. So this is the 4 things. Example, in one palace, he was with his children and talking to his wife, resting. And in another palace, he's receiving guest. Okay. Another palace, he was playing with the children. In another palace, he was playing chess, chaturanga. So like that, he is performing his duty. Okay. Now, 24. Utsideyur ime loka nakur yang karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyam ima praja. What Krishna says, if I did not perform prescribed duties, all this world would put into ruination. Everything will be ruined. Because I would be the cause of creating unwanted population. So he's the one that if you don't do your job, you are creating unwanted population. And I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. All right. Because before that, Arjuna was telling that destruction of family tradition. Argument is telling, I don't want to destroy the family tradition. But Krishna says, if you don't perform your prescribed duty, that is when you are destroying the family tradition. Okay. That is in 24. And in 30, all right, in 30, this is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita in chapter 3, text 30. Mayi sarvani karmani Sanyasyadhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasva vigata jvara. What he says here. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desire for profit, with no claims of proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. So, this is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Mayi Sarvani. Mayi means me. Sarvani, everything. Karmani, activity. All right? Sanyasyadatma chetasa. So he's saying, oh Arjuna, surrender all your works unto me. So what does it mean? How can we apply? Whatever job that you are in, you can be a teacher, doctor, whatever job that you may be involved in, surrender the result to Krishna. Isn't that simple? You surrender everything to Krishna. And how? Not blindly, with full knowledge of me. That means you know that he is the supreme person and he is the one who can get rid of all your karma and everything according to Bhagavad Gita. So whatever things that I'm doing, I just simply surrender to Krishna. Krishna, whatever I've done, this is the thing. Okay. Every morning you wake up, first thing in the morning, if possible, try to wake up early in the morning. Go in front of the Lord. If you don't have an altar, just put a Bhagavad Gita in front, because Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, there's no difference. Put a Bhagavad Gita in front of you and look at the Bhagavad Gita and worship. Say, oh dear Krishna, or dear Bhagavad Gita, I surrender my today to you. I offer my day to you. That means every day is a brand new day. Once the day is gone forever, right? You cannot go back to the day. So that means you wake up first thing in the morning and just say, Krishna, I surrender my day to you. Whatever good or bad, I surrender to you. And whatever result I'm getting, I take it as your mercy. Try this and see. The amount of peace of mind and the clarity of your consciousness is unbelievable. But don't do it at 10 o'clock in the morning. Wake up early in the morning and offer your day. From the day that you're going to go out from your work to your job until you're going to come back home to sleep, the entire day of being awakened, I offer it to you, O Krishna. Okay? Then, after that, he said, why? And I don't desire any profit. That means, when I do things, I hope, Krishna, you take care of me. I hope, Krishna, you this thing, without any desiring for profit. Because when you surrender means, you don't expect anything back. Example, when the American and the Japanese fought during the World War II, right? When the Japanese surrenders, he raised the hand at first. He raised the hand, he said, I surrender. So when he surrendered, what happened? He walks towards the American, the GI. The Americans, what they'll do? They'll first thing, they'll pull out all their insignia. Their whatever thing they have, their general, whatever, they just pull the thing off, pull off all the badge. After that, they ask them to open their shirt and pants. All right, strip them. Then he says, okay, now you're fully surrendered to me. Now they'll take you to the POW, prisoner of war. They take you as a prisoner of war and give you all protection. All right. So you don't say, oh, what is my profit if I surrender to American? The Japanese don't say that. So simply surrender. All right. So when you surrender, you don't expect any profit because Krishna will look after you. How? We will study as we go on. All right. So without desire for profit, with no claims of the proprietorship, right? Oh, whatever things you do, whatever success come, I did it. No, you don't claim anything. You just leave it everything to God. That's it. Very simple. Just leave it everything to God. Any good thing happen, any bad thing happen, because you are not the doer. Krishna says that all of us are helplessly acting by the mode of material nature that we are stuck in. Everything that happens around us, we are simply helpless. So we just leave it to Krishna. I said, whatever things good or bad, I don't claim any proprietorship. Okay. By doing that, what will happen to you, my dear devotees? You will be free from lethargy. You will be free from frustration. You will be free from stress. Some say, by doing this, I am trying to be a dumb person. I'm going to be a dumb. All right. I am trying to be a person in ignorance. Or I'm trying to make a shortcut way out. Being irresponsible. Because formerly I was a motivator. I was a motivational speaker and I'm a self-help guru. I used to train people to achieve great success in their life. And I tell them, the great success in life can happen to you if the result comes with peace of mind. Do not sacrifice your life for something that is perishable in the future. I work so hard and I accumulate money and I build a house. Like my grandfather, we all are from, my grandfather was Jamin. Jamin means like very rich landlord in India. Jamin. All right. He built a house and everything. In Ipoh, in my place, we had a big house and everything. After he died, within 14 days, there's a conflict happened. And the house was a conflict happened, the house, this and that. Then I told my father, just give it up. If Krishna doesn't want us to have it, why should we suffer it? Just forget it and just come back. And my father was telling, I don't have something to remember. I say, what? You have your father's name behind your name. You got surname. You got your father's name behind your name. Isn't that more remembrance than having this kind of some building? Forget it. So all my uncles, aunts and everything, they got together, they separated thing and they destroyed that home. They sold the home and the home eventually was demolished and they built another big building because such a big land. So what happened? My grandfather built that house thinking. He worked so hard day and night. Such a big businessman. He built the house. He thought that everyone, all my children, grandchildren could live in. But it didn't last. The day he died, within 14 days, everything is gone. But what happened to all my uncle and aunts who fought for it? Some of them has gone crazy. Some of them even admitted in mental asylum. All right, they are living a life so miserable. But my father was in peace. When he passed away and he left the body, he left in a very peaceful. Anyway, what I'm saying is, as a motivational guru and all this is, do not sacrifice your life for something which is very perishable. All right? But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you do not work. I do not want to waste my life working so that I know everything. The car that I'll buy eventually will last for 10 years, then the car will be gone. I'll do this, everything eventually will be gone. Therefore, I know everything is not permanent, so therefore I don't work anything. I just sit in one place and meditate. No, that's not the way. You have to do your job. Krishna says you have to perform your duty because that duty will purify you. The more that you, whatever result that you're going to get and you're going to sacrifice to Vishnu, it's going to purify you. It's going to create so much of good karma. Or in other words, it's going to wash out all your prarabdha karma, all your previous birth karma, all will be destroyed. Even to do that, you need to work. But what I say, do not get attached to what you're doing. And surrender everything to Krishna. Don't claim anything. If Krishna wants to give you a Mercedes Benz, you just take it as the mercy of the Lord. But do not attempt and work hard and to die to earn that car. All that I'm speaking from my experience. When I got my first Mercedes Benz, right? Life was hell. Right? First thing, you get a good car. Wow. After that, every night, my mom will call me at 10 o'clock at night. Where are you? I say, just after meeting, going back home. Why are you going back so late? Go and stay in a hotel. I say, why? You are driving this car. People will kidnap you with the car. My mom was in anxiety. I was in anxiety. Everybody was in anxiety. Right? So what I'm trying to tell you here is, we are not trying to demotivate you. What I'm trying to tell you is, make your life, live life with full of gratitude. Because all the ingredients that around you doesn't belong to you. It's belong to the Lord. Isha Vashya. Everything belongs to the Lord. So when you surrender everything, whatever day, the first thing you wake up, my dear God, I surrender my day to you. I go and do my job. I go and teach my student. I go and see my patients. I just do my job. The patient was sent to you by the providence. So my job is to treat the patient as much according to my intelligence, my experience and everything. Whether he live, whether he die, it's not your problem. All right. And whatever reaction. So when you're just going to do without attachment, I'm telling you, mothers and Prabhus and mothers, your life will be absolutely peaceful. You're going to have a stress-free life. And this stress-free life was spoken 5,000 years ago and valid till today. If not, you have to go and get some artificial way of getting some peace of mind, like going to that clubs. You have to go to this, the what they call theme park. You have to travel the world. There's a lot of, but still, end of the day, you come back, you still can't get peace of mind. So that's why Krishna says, surrendering all your work unto me. Whatever you do, just surrender to him. Don't do it blindly, with knowledge. We are not a sentimental based religion. Krishna doesn't want you to become a sentimentalist. He wants you to think. And he wants you to know what actually you're doing. All right? With full awareness. And without desire for profit. Don't expect anything. Just do. With no claims of proprietorship. When you get it, yes. By doing this, you'll be free from lethargy. You'll feel from frustration. Lethargy means what? Frustration, tiredness, all these combined. Very lethargic. You don't have mood to do anything. Right? So free from all this lethargy, fight. So Krishna says, go and fight. All right? So now, so Arjuna's reasons for not fighting. Number one, compassion for friends and relatives. 128 to 130. No enjoyment even victorious. We recap that. We studied that in 131 to 35. Chapter 1, text 31 to 35. Fear of sinful reaction. 138 to 30. This thing. Destruction of family tradition. 39 and 43. So now Krishna defeats Arjuna's argument. All these arguments he defeats. Number one, what he says? Compassion for eternal soul is self-realization. That means compassion for eternal soul. That means soul is eternal. And to have compassion, to know that is self-realization. That means to know who you are and what you are. In text 222. Happiness comes from prescribed duty. When you do what you're supposed to do, that's when the happiness comes. Fight for the sake of duty. Just fight for the sake of duty. Don't expect anything. And at last, in 324, chapter 3, text 24, Krishna says, Varna Shankara, or unwanted population, is caused by not fighting. Is created by not fighting, but not by fighting. All right. In other words, the Varna Shankara, the unwanted population is created not by abstaining from fight. All right. Not by fighting the war, but abstaining, by staying away. This is how you're going to create Varna Shankara. Why? Because the whole future generation is going to follow you. So the entire future generation is destroyed, spoiled. Okay. So that's the thing. So take the RDC formula. RDC formula. Read Bhagavad Gita, distribute Bhagavad Gita, and chant Hare Krishna. So when you read Bhagavad Gita, you are getting you are getting a lot of peace of mind. And distribute Bhagavad Gita is a charity or the sacrifice that you can do. So what you can do, okay, I'll buy 1 or 2 Bhagavad Gita and I just like to go and give it away. Every month I take a salary, I'll just buy 1 Bhagavad Gita or 2 Bhagavad Gita, whatever, just give to someone and encourage them to read. That is the biggest sacrifice you think you can do, right? It is more fantastic than going and do some fire sacrifice or going and doing this, what they call, feeding the poor and all this. Of course, there is benefit. But the ultimate benefit comes when you sacrifice your money for the sake of encouraging people to read Bhagavad Gita. That's going to be the topmost sacrifice. We will study why as we go on in chapters 16, 17, 18. You start to know, wow, how powerful is Bhagavad Gita. Right? Then at last, chant Hare Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna is the Yuga Dharma. In Kali Yuga, the best way, the best sacrifice in previous Yuga, like Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, there's 4 Yugas. The previous Yugas, they achieve benefit, they achieve success by meditation. And the another Yuga, they achieve perfection by doing fire sacrifice, big fire sacrifice. Then after that, they build huge temples. They worship the deity very nicely. They achieve perfection, right? But of course, all these previous activity, you need to be qualified. But in Kali Yuga, Krishna gives the most simplest method. Just chant Hare Krishna. There's no qualification. You don't need to be qualified. You don't need to be vegetarian. You don't need to be anything. As long as you're a human being, you still got senses. You can still chant. Just take the beats and just chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Every day, you can start to see a big transformation start happening in your life. All right. So I hope that you study your once we have finished completed our chapter 3. And next will be divine knowledge. All right. So I hope that you finish up your chapter 3 before we go to that chapter 4. Right. So coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow is not tomorrow because tomorrow is off day. Every Thursday is off day because tomorrow I'm having a Namahat Center in Ipoh. If anyone from Ipoh, please, you can contact me, can come and join us in Namahat Center in First Garden. All right. ISKCON Ipoh First Garden area. We have a Namahat Center that's sponsored by a doctor. We are doing that program there every Thursday from 7:30 to 10, 7:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. So therefore, we are not having program tomorrow. We continue on Friday. So the Friday discussion is going to be transcendental knowledge about Krishna, how to approach the spiritual master. So it's going to be a very interesting topic, right? So is there any questions, any comment? You can ask now. So again, please take note, there is no class on tomorrow. Friday, we're going to continue. Okay. So I hope that you all have enjoyed the class today. I hope some or other I've created some kind of awareness. So please kindly study the book. Okay. Tomorrow, since tomorrow is an off day, break, you can make use of that opportunity to read Bhagavad Gita chapter 3. If you have not read chapter 2, I believe chapter 2 is quite a long chapter. You can even do chapter 2 and chapter 3 tomorrow since it's a break day. All right. So any questions? Any comment? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This
Hare Krishna.
Karma Yoga section, is it in line with our constitutional position? Because it seems like the creation is created. The purpose is to have this necessitate this condition so that we are coming to this. We are approaching this constitutional position, the Swarupa of existence.
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, what happened? It is a starting stage, step 1, Karma Yoga. Because Krishna is going step by step. First, he started with Karma Yoga. Right? So now, how you can engage your job in serving Krishna. Right? Then after that, slowly he goes to the next step. He comes to Dhyana Yoga. Then after that, the chapter 5, he comes to Karma Yoga, action in Krishna conscious. Then after that, he comes to chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga, meditation. Then all this conclusion, he'll put it on chapter 7 onwards, the confidential knowledge. So now he's telling one by one, step 1, step 2, step 3. So that's the thing. Okay, Prabhu? Of course, we are all going towards our constitutional position, yes. Okay. Nice question. Thank you for the question. Hare Krishna, Prahlad Prabhu from Trinidad, Tobago. Happy to see you.
Hari Bol, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare
One
Krishna,
nice little comment there that what Prabhu was asking a question on the yoga ladder there, and is that
yes.
generally
Correct.
the concept understanding is from animal life to karma kan. Human life begins when one begins to follow rules, regulations,
Correct.
the 4 regulative principles therein, and when one comes to karma yoga is when one begins to accept a transcendental goal. So that acceptance of a transcendental goal takes that karma and adds the yoga. What gives that the basis, as you nicely said, is the bhakti. So karma plus bhakti is karma yoga. So therefore is
Yes.
Mishra Bhakti. And this is the beginning step to that step towards regaining our original constitutional position. Haribol, nice comment.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Okay. Any other comments? Any questions? Okay. If there's no questions, so we end the session now. Please take note, tomorrow no class. We'll meet again on Friday, same time, 7:30 p.m. All right. And we discuss on chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. All right. Till then, have a beautiful day. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha paditanam pavinebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. Good night.
Hare Krishna. Gauranga.
Gauranga. Hari Bol.